Hey guys, Elena here. Today I'm going to share with you my most helpful and most used tools I have in my kitchen. Working in a restaurant, I learned new skills and tricks to help make cooking easier and tastier. And these tools are the first step and the most essential step you can take to achieve that too. The only way to be successful in a kitchen is if you have the right tools, and I'm going to make your next Amazon order a little easier. This is Besser's Basics, where I show you fundamental cooking techniques that will help unleash your inner badass in the kitchen. Let's get started. I'm going to shed light on one of the most underrated kitchen tools that everyone should have. We are talking about the fish spatula, and don't worry, even if you don't eat fish, this tool will make your life so much easier. After this video, you'll be able to flip pancakes and fold omelets perfectly every single time. At least we hope you will. Let's get started. So this right here is a fish spatula. Traditionally, a fish spatula is used to slip under delicate pieces of fish without tearing its flesh. Fish spatulas tend to be longer and thinner than the average spatula and are much more flexible and bendy, so you can really slide under whatever it is you're cooking without having to worry about it falling apart. I honestly always use a fish spatula over a traditional spatula. It is so much easier to slip it under anything without having a fear of completely breaking apart my food when I want to flip or fold it. See, it is as easy as that. Go do yourself a favor and get a fish spatula. Now your attempted omelets will never turn into scrambles ever again. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite kitchen hacks I learned from working in a restaurant kitchen. With this little trick, I promise you, you will make sure to use all of your food so nothing goes to waste every single time. From dinner leftovers wrapped in foil to bulk grains in your pantry or even extra dressing that didn't end up getting used, label everything. All it takes is some tape and a Sharpie to make such a difference. Let's begin. If you don't label your food, you tend to overlook it when browsing your fridge, and you'll probably forget about it 2 days later. By labeling what it is and when you made or bought it, you are basically writing "eat me" on a piece of tape. This will compel you to eat food that will go bad sooner, ultimately saving a ton of food that would have ended up in the trash. Also, labeling your food lets your boyfriend, roommate, brother, or even your mother know exactly what is sitting in your fridge. And I promise you, that leftover spaghetti bolognese will get eaten if people know exactly what it is. Labeling will only benefit you, I promise. Not only will it end up saving you a ton of money, but it ensures nothing goes to waste. Do yourself a favor, label your food and give your garbage a frickin' break. I'm going to share with you the only 3 knives you'll need in order to take over the kitchen like a boss. First and foremost, knives are the most important tool to have in a kitchen. Everybody should make sure to have the fundamental knife skills down. Every recipe requires it. Let's begin. So the first essential knife everyone needs in the kitchen is the classic chef's knife. A chef's knife is a multi-purpose knife that has a smooth, sharp blade that ranges anywhere from 6 to 14 inches long. A chef's knife is extremely versatile and can be used to do anything from dice, slice, chop, fillet, and more. Now, some quick knife anatomy. We have the handle, heel, and tip. When you're using a chef's knife, it is important to make sure that the knife never leaves the board. So instead, you move it from heel to tip like this. Next, we move on to a paring knife. A paring knife is a smaller utility knife, still having that sharp, smooth blade. But because the paring knife is much smaller, it is easier to get more precise and have more control when using it. A paring knife is great for slicing small produce, like fruits and veggies. It's also great to use when peeling produce. Lastly, we have our serrated knife. Unlike the past 2 knives I have mentioned, a serrated knife has a long, ridged blade. Serrated knives are used when you want to cut something that has a hard exterior but a soft interior, like loaves of bread, bagels, or tomatoes. Here's a quick tip. Never ever wash your knives in the dishwasher. That continuous hot water on them will actually dull them out. Instead, hand wash them with a little bit of soapy warm water and dry them immediately after to make sure that they stay nice and sharp. And there you go, the 3 essential knives that will help you tackle any recipe that you take on. I'm going to talk to you about the importance of having a pepper grinder, so you can make sure you are using the freshest and tastiest pepper every single time. Pre-ground pepper is a huge no-no. Peppercorns hold a ton of flavor, and when they break apart, they unleash a pop of fresh, peppery taste. But over time, the taste slowly fades as the inside of the peppercorn is exposed to oxygen. Now that we've got all of that covered, let's get cracking. So, in order to avoid pepper that doesn't even taste like pepper, you must use a pepper grinder. Pepper grinders hold whole peppercorns in its body, and when you turn the top, only then does it start breaking apart and freeing the ground pepper. This results in the freshest pepper possible. Another tip, turning this nozzle on the top adjusts the size of the grinder. The more you tighten the nozzle, the finer your pepper will be ground. If you loosen the nozzle, you will end up with ground pepper that is more coarse. You can adjust the nozzle based on how strong you want that pepper flavor to be. And there you have it. Go do yourself a favor and start grinding the pepper, that is. I'm going to share with you my secret to getting evenly sliced produce every single time. You guessed it, it's all about the mandolin. Let's begin. In my opinion, I think the mandolin is a kitchen tool everybody needs. I'm going to start with zucchini, and you're just going to gently glide it over the blade. See how easy it is to get these nice, even slices? When you're cooking veggies like roasting, sauteing, or steaming, it is important to make sure your produce is sliced evenly so it will all cook at the same rate. There is nothing worse than roasting a batch of potatoes and only half of them being crispy and ready to serve while the other half is still raw. Once you get towards the root of your veggie, you can use your palm to glide it over the blade so you don't cut your fingers. Now I'm going to cut a radish. By adjusting the size of the slice like this, the mandolin makes it super easy to quickly and accurately slice anything. I changed the blade so the slices will be a little thinner. I like to wear gloves when I'm using the mandolin because the blade is really sharp, honestly. And blood-stained radish is not on tonight's menu. Now, go do yourself a favor and buy a mandolin. Not only will it make all of your produce look prettier, but it will save you a ton of time. Hey, pals, let's be honest. On an average night, we are not cooking a 5-course, 10-person dinner party. Instead, we come home from a day of work, barely having the strength
to even think about getting in the kitchen to cook dinner,
let alone clean up the aftermath. But what if I told you I have a kitchen tool that will make this end of the day slump just a little bit easier? We are talking about the sizzle tray. So think of the sizzle tray as a mini pan. So cute. So I always use my sizzle tray at home. It's small enough to throw on a couple pieces of chicken, steak, a few slices of bread, or even leftovers from the night before and have it be ready for dinner in no time. Plus, at the end, all you need to wash is this little tray instead of a huge pan. Another thing that's great about sizzle trays is I always have a few in my kitchen just in case something I'm cooking requires me to put 2 separate things in the oven that have different cooking times. I fill up each of my trays and pop them both in. Now I don't need to worry about one thing overcooking while the other is just about to finish. There you go, easy dinner and even easier cleaning. I am going to show you why using a squeeze bottle has become a game changer in my kitchen and allowed me to evenly coat everything and anything every single time. This is one of the first adjustments I had to make when working in a restaurant kitchen, and I have never looked back since. I always pour my oil straight into a squeeze bottle once I buy it, and let me show you why. Let's begin. When you want to do things like roast veggies in a pan or dress a salad, it's hard to balance between pouring evenly and making sure you don't pour too much when you are using a glass bottle. But when using a squeeze bottle, it is so easy to lightly drizzle your oil wherever and however much you want. I've taken this idea and expanded it to so many things in my kitchen, like honey, vinegar, and maple syrup. Also, because using a squeeze bottle increases precision, it's easy to elevate your dishes by drizzling oil and vinegar lightly and beautifully over a dish, or honey over Greek yogurt. From a plating perspective, it really helps upgrade presentation without even trying. There you have it, the most essential tools you need in your kitchen to cook like an absolute badass. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't be shy, comment below and let me know what other Besser's Basics videos you would like to see. And I'll see you next time. Bye.